Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America Symbol of Truth Issue 9. Yeah, and that's a nice action cover that actually fits with what's kind of going on with Sam and Nomad having to deal with some crap. So, we pretty much open up where we left off that, of course, the hospital was bombed. They're trying to figure out if there's any survivors. Of course, they bring up trying to go and help them and dig them out. Nomad's like, that's probably a trap, so they could be trying to lure us out. But Sam's like, then we'll give them what they're asking for. We're going to go rescue them, and whatever you need from Captain America and Nomad, just say the word. And that's a really good, like, Sam page right there, just being like, yep, gonna have to, they need help. And Sam and Nomad are going to help them. So we switch over and we see White Wolf and his entourage pretty much talking about the success of the hit on the hospital, and that their sources have confirmed that both Captain America and his companion are en route. They have forces ready for the ambush, and he's like saying it's going to be so beautiful when it's finished. He says that he's in pain to see his country's in flames, even if it is in service to a larger purpose. Of course, this one dude is pretty much just like that heretic would have ruined the place. And White Wolf was like, yes, this moment is important to maintain the vision, and telling them to open the portals. And the one dude's like, aren't our forces enough? It's like, do it. Tell our forces that if he cannot be captured, I will settle for Captain America's corpse. It's like, damn, okay. White Wolf's not playing around. So we pretty much see them get to where the hospital was. Let's see. Seeing if there's any sign of the enemy. People in rubble and everything. Cap trying to help people. Let's see. Giving pretty much a rundown of like how many are trapped. The doctors were on the upper floors, and if they're okay, or at least if they can get to them, they can help with any kind of other people. So Sam pretty much flies up, sees that most of them are pretty much, I mean, they can be kind of screwed up, but they're not trapped under rubble or anything, and he's like going to bring them down to administer aid and everything, and wondering if there's any more. Many of the colleagues were evacuated, but several are still missing, and he starts kind of like flying them out two at a time as he's able to do that. And that there was a let me see. Some survivors found a shelter, though it won't be able to hold for much longer, as then other attacks start kind of popping up. It's like, what the fuck is that? And then, of course, the building starts to kind of have structural weakness, and Sam pretty much goes in to hold it up to protect one of the people, and then Nomad's like, what the what's kind of going on? As he is like, I hate being right. And this is really kind of cool looking. And we learn that it's the Frox from, let me see, Frox from Dimension Z. I just really like the use of color and the kind of panel layout. You have your reactions, but then you got the big shot of getting the new forces in play introduced. And it's just like, oh yeah. And I really kind of like this because they're like, what the hell are these? They're from Dimension Z. They helped Steve raise me. And I do like that being connected back in, especially since you're using Ian Rogers in this whole thing. So I'm like, thank you. And Sam, of course, knocks one out, saying, I don't think they recognize you. Or not knocks it out, but at least delivers a thump to, like, kind of deal with them. And, of course, Dr. Sisulu is saying that these must be the mutated kind of ones that people were referring to. And he's like, mutated's not what you should really call them. And he's like, I think they would prefer, and Sam's like, babysitters? So I do kind of like their banter kind of getting more into a kind of flow. And he's pretty much like, if he's got a key to like Arnim Zola's old stomping grounds and he can turn these things against us, the game's just changed. I'm like, yeah, that really introduces some kind of different kind of possibilities of what's kind of going on. And then they start kind of chanting about like Captain America, and it's like, what the hell's kind of going on there? And Nomad's pretty much trying to protect Bathabile, Tilda, and Sisulu, and Nomad's pretty much trying to protect Bathabile, Tilda, and Sisulu, and it's like, okay, trying to run through, how are these portals being kind of like worked? It's got to be some kind of technological conduit, a signal transmitter. The doctor pretty much tells Bathabile until to get the civilians to safety while the enemy's distracted. She's got to figure out how these portals are opened. If she doesn't, we'd have to deal with more of these. But they got to get the Frocks away from the civilians. And of course, they're kind of like going after Sammy's like, what the fuck? They're going after me. It's like, alright, I'll lead them away from the hospital, which is a good kind of idea. But Nomad's like, you're not taking on all of them by yourself, Cap. And he's, of course, got a different kind of plan as we switch over. And he starts using, he says, I'm calling for backup, and using his bird powers. Thank you. That is a big thing. I don't need Sam using his bird powers all the time. But when it is helpful like this, and used at a nice tactical advantage to deal with the Frocks, that's when it's used. I'm like, yay, thank you. That's awesome. And then, of course, he gets a call. He's like, hold on, got you. As we've got that missiles are kind of going after him. And he kind of, like, deals with them. He's like, all right. Transmitter. White Wolf wouldn't put something on the ground where anyone could reach it. He must have forgot who he is. And the thing is, they're kind of going after what they think is the transmitter on the ground, and they pretty much figure out it's probably just like an amplifier at the Parliament building, so they'll destroy that one too, and they go for it. Sam flies up where the oxygen pretty much gets thin, finds pretty much that transmitter. Let's see. And since they're getting close to Parliament, they're talking about evacuating. They'll be here any minute, telling the general to have faith. Now when victory's so close when they're almost there, as Sam busts through the floating cube. And of course, this sends a kind of like shockwave signal through the Frocks. And it's like, alright, that kind of did it. But Nomad's like, I think it just made them angry as they kind of start like blasting around. Like the portal's gone, but the Frocks are still there, so like... Granted, I could understand trying to destroy the kind of portal conduit, and it could theoretically yank the Frocks back, depending upon how the portal kind of works. But normally when you're doing a kind of portal, it wouldn't auto-teleport them away, unless they have some kind of device upon themselves that facilitates said, like, portal transfers. Then that could kind of work. But this, I would be like, yeah, I wouldn't imagine that the Frocks would just bloop away. So Sam's pretty much coming down saying, just hold on a little longer. It's like, what the fuck is that? It's not a Frocks. Sam, you're going to want to see this, as he says, no way. And we flip over, and we see some really crazy artwork of Falcon being nuts and just having taken down Frocks and saying, Sam Wilson, for abandoning me, I will have your blood. As we see, I'm pretty sure that's Red Wing, as he's got bloody claws and everything and is looking just gnarly as fuck. So it's like, yeah, that is going to be one hell of a thing that Sam's going to have to deal with there. So we'll have to see how this kind of works out. I am glad that it kind of worked out that, like, okay, White Wolf was pretty much trying to lure out the rebels, and it's like, okay, that makes sense of what he would do with the hospital, because Sam wouldn't just let those people die. He would go and try and help them. And, of course, instituting the Frocks as his kind of shock troopers to do... He has faith in his own kind of forces, but, like, he wants to make sure that he gets the job done. And I love that we're getting more stuff from Dimension Z kind of handled in, since Ian Rogers has been brought in like this. Because that was a kind of really cool kind of thing, and I like that kind of stuff mixing in here. And it's kind of crazy that Falcon was able to get from his abuela's house in Arizona to here as quickly. Like, he almost has crazy-ass teleporting powers at this point. It's just, I understand that if you took the time to try and explain it to a degree, it would kind of break narrative flow, and I kind of get that. But him just popping up like, ah! It's like, oh shit! Now, granted, if we explain that since his, like, vampiric kind of tendencies have been amped up, and that his super kind of charged his ability to fly super fast, I can accept that. That's also kind of typical kind of comic book kind of logic kind of going on with that. But we'll have to see how they kind of work out with this. And and how they'll kind of get Falcon back to normal, because this is going to be a big problem, because he's kind of got a bloodluster going after Sam at this point, so he's not going to go complete kill happy, I don't believe, but he fucked up the Frox, and it looks like he killed him, but we'll kind of have to see. So Sam might take the same kind of tactic of the Frox for trying to go after him, and do the same thing with Falcon and try and lead him away. Ian providing support and everything while the rebel forces go and attempt to take on White Wolf, which isn't the ideal kind of scenario. However, we can see how that kind of works out. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.